I wanted to know what exactly is coming to Melbourne, to Victoria, to the world with the earth changes, if you can speak about it. Because, I've kind of heard a lot of things, a lot of theories, how bad it's going to be. And I personally, for some reason, don't feel any panic or fear. And I kind of, always thought deep inside that I will feel if anything was to go wrong, but maybe I'm not connected enough or whatever. So.
Yeah, well, there is this thing, you see, that we often use as an analogy. I don't know if I can draw it very well, but it sort of looks something like this.
Even I don't know what it is yet. It's like Mr. Squiggle.
I can't draw it at all.
Upside down, upside down.
It might look more representative of what I'm trying to draw. I'm just trying to picture...
For once, I don't know what you're doing. Letters, sounds like... Oh, it's an ostrich.
She must be my soulmate, I'm sure. And what's he doing? He's burying his head in the sand. You see, one thing we do is that we sort of have this funny thing as a human race, and that is that we expect things to continue going on as they are, even when all the signs are pointing in a completely different direction. Have you noticed that? So, to give you an example, the US economy at the moment is going downhill, isn't it? Everyone pretty much knows that, right? It's got full of debt. In fact, their national debt is getting quite high now. Our Australian dollar is, what, $1.08, $7, $8, whatever it is, US today, right? Now, you know, just a few years ago, it was like 50 cents almost, like completely different, right? And obviously, things are going downhill for the US economy. But does everybody say, something's going to happen here? No, I was reading in the paper the other day in The Australian. One of the economists said, I am very optimistic for our economy. And I just feel like, that's another ostrich burying his head in the sand. And with regard to earth change events, for example, we've had recently, over the past year, a series of earthquake activity, volcanic events, all around the Pacific Plate, have we not? There's just one after the other. There's a whole series of volcanoes that are going off that haven't been going off for hundreds of years, some of them thousands of years at this point, and all of them starting to go off, like around the whole Pacific Rim of Fire. And yet we read one of the geologists saying, this is nothing unusual. Now, do you feel it's nothing unusual? I don't feel it's nothing unusual. So what we have a tendency of doing is we have a tendency to receive all of this information, but because we're so dearly attached to our own life and our own lifestyle, and we're, in particular, remember we listed the fears, which were the fears about family and the fears about what our family think of us, and all of those other fears too, they all kick in. And before we know it, what we're really doing is that we are just we're not being realistic or logical. We are now not even being what I would call optimistic. We're actually just burying our head in the sand to the truth, which is actually denying. We're basically beginning to live in denial. And the problem is, on the planet today, more and more people are choosing to live in denial of the things that are becoming painfully obvious. We have had a series of events occur in the Middle East, have we not? Like, a lot of series of events occurring.
Sorry, Ajay, I wanted to clarify. I had no doubt about the end of the world, so to speak, and economical crisis and financial crisis.
Yep.
For me, it was about 2009 to 10 when I first properly got enough info about mine predictions.
I agree. I'm not criticising you here.
No. I'm just saying. I just didn't realize that it's gonna happen to Victoria for some reason. I feel safe in Victoria and Melbourne.
But you see, this is what I'm getting at. Everybody feels their own life is going to be safe somehow.
Well, can I give the example of the I mentioned on Saturday I started to lead the mediumship team for God's Way of Love. And our second week we met, or maybe it's the first week, we set some homework. And the homework was for everyone to channel about the subject of earth changes. Because for myself, that's very scary, to channel about something and I might get it wrong or whatever.
Well, no, what are the real fears for yourself?
Oh, yep. I might get it wrong and then my dad would be in a rage with me forever and say that I ruin people's lives. So that's my very specific fear. Not to do with tidal waves at all. My dad's anger is much more than tidal waves. Anyway, so everyone, there's about 40 people in the group, and about half of them did their homework. And they sent me some of their homework. And so if I amalgamated all of the channeling, and it wasn't an exercise in doing accurate channeling, it was an exercise in channeling something we're afraid of. So we weren't too worried. But just to highlight the point AJ's making, if I conglomerated all of the mediumship together, then everywhere on this planet is in deep, deep trouble. There's volcanoes, earthquakes, tidal waves, everywhere except Wilkesdale, Queensland, which happens to be where we live. Like that, everyone said is fine. So, you can see that people have a certain, they bring into their life and into their mediumship a certain set of fears that prevent them hearing about or feeling about certain things.
Yeah. So the reason why I raise that with you is that every single person has a tendency to bury their head in the sand about their own personal experience. We sort of expect bad things to happen, but we expect them to happen to somebody else. That's how we are. And because of that, we have a tendency to deny the signs that we're given through the external environment and through a series of events. We deny the signs that are given that actually it may be far worse than what we actually anticipate when it comes to earth changes, for example. And so what myself and Mary are doing, to give you a bit of background, is we're talking to a group of spirits who we feel that we've established some trust of, and those spirits are giving us detailed information about what is happening in most areas of the earth. And we're going through country by country with getting an explanation of things that are happening in each country. Now, as Mary's indicated, this is not through Mary's channeling because Mary is afraid of her dad, so it has to be through talking to others.
For the record, I'm not even convinced it's going to happen, me, myself, because I'm so petrified that if I believe, if you even say it's going to happen, I'm going to be in big trouble. So that's the level of my block.
Whereas I'm
AJ's very convinced.
Very convinced.
As are most people on the planet, if you think about it. If you talk to farmers in Wondai, where we live, they're like, yeah, no, it's going to happen.
We've known about earth changes coming. We know they're going to come very shortly. These are guys that are just like farmers.
They're not on a spiritual path.
Not on any spiritual path. Well, our next door neighbour, I went across the road to meet him and talk with him, and he said, I came up here because I just felt moved to come up here because I know there's going to be some things happening to the earth and we feel that this might be a safe place. And then I was talking to a worker on our property who we pay to come to do some work, and he said, my wife, now that you mention it, my wife's, ever since she's been 5 years of old, has had these visions of earth changes happening in 2012, right? And nobody's told her about 2012. She hasn't read anything about it.
She's never seen the movie.
She's never seen the movie, nothing like that. And she said, and she keeps making me move inland all the time, he says. And so
he said, where we're at now, she's happy.
Used to be at the Gold Coast, then he used to be about 100 k's inland. Now they're about 250 k's inland from the Gold Coast. And she feels now, now we're going to be safe. So she stopped him moving after that. So there's been plenty of people who nothing to do with people on the divine love path or nothing to do with mediumship even really, that have had these feelings. Many of you have had dreams, have you not? Actually of waves and all sorts of different things in your life. Many of you will probably have experienced that. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to talk about the details with the group of spirits who we've established some trust of, which myself and Mary will probably release a lot more detail about in a few months' time, probably 3 or 4 months' time. And that will give everyone a lot more details of what those spirits are saying.
And that is largely because we want to be sure that we're not misleading anyone. Like we're putting some faith in these spirits that we're speaking to, and we don't want to rush forward and just publicise something. We realise that people possibly listen to us a little bit more than they might listen to someone else, and we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing by everyone.
But that being said, we also don't want to say nothing, because if we say nothing and you have the opportunity to make choices and decisions, and we withhold different things from you because of things that we know, then we feel that wouldn't be very loving either. So what we're doing is we're trying to check all of the facts, and this is taking a bit of time because it means us travelling to different places to talk with the people involved. And we also have, as you know, I've had for most of my life a lot of very strong indications of what I feel will happen, and now those feelings are solidifying as well in terms of the sequence of events and so forth. And so we're hoping to actually give to you a series of events that will occur, both to do with the economy and politics, but also to do with earth change events, in order to give you some degree of confidence as to what will happen. Now, we're not going to talk about those publicly until such a time as we feel a lot more certain about the series of events in each location. Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah.
Can I just make one more comment about that? What we talked about before about making loving choices versus fearful ones. Oh gosh, that's a bit bad, this pen. Yep. Still applies. Even if we tell you blow by blow what's going to happen, if you live in a state of fear about it, or you act only because you're afraid of what we're saying, your law of attraction is in play, if you like. It's always in play, but fearful decision-making leads to laws of attraction that expose the things we're afraid of. I feel that if you're in your desire, God has created a universe that if you're in loving desire, you are more connected with everything around you. The plant life, the environment, God and the spirit world in a positive sense. So I feel that if you're in a loving, desirous state, you're going to feel what's right for you. So I don't mean that to be a brush-off statement.
That being
believe
said,
it passionately.
I personally, that Mary's stated her personal position, but my personal position is I feel I know quite strongly what's going to happen here in Melbourne. And but the question that I would ask you is, are you all following your exact passions and desires right now? Are you doing exactly what you want to be doing, what you would be enjoying doing for yourself? Now, my suggestion is if you engage that, that will lead you to a place that is actually going to be a far better place, and more than likely be a place that survives earth changes, than if you deny your passions and desires.
This is what I was trying to say. He says it so much better.
and you suppress them in such a manner that you just want to live your current life because of your fears. And so if you continue to suppress your passions and desires, how do you think God and your spirit friends who want your life to be saved, coming events, they don't want your life saved because of they're afraid of you dying, because they're not afraid of you dying. They would like your life saved because of what you know about the truth already and how you can help people in the future after these events occur. And in terms of positive change on the earth, they have a lot of other much larger goals than just saving your life, right? But how can those spirits help you get to the place where you're going to have a life that is saved on the planet, when you are in so much denial of yourself in terms of desire and so much denial of truth in terms of your relationships with others? How are they going to now inspire you to be in the right location at the right time?
There's no opening to connection.
That's exactly what I needed to hear.
Yeah. So my feelings at the moment are it's imperative for any person who really wants to have a happy life from now onwards to begin to passionately follow their own desires and to deal with any fears that they have that are withholding them from doing so.
And I can guarantee you, if you go, right, that's it, what's my desire, I'm passionately going for it, it'll trigger your fears, because otherwise you'd already be doing it. And so the best way to do it is to step into it and go, okay, I'm really afraid now. I'll feel that for a while before I take the next step, you know? Yeah.
So when you focus on making the decisions from now on only about your soul, only about what your soul needs to grow and expand with, in particular, grow and expand with love, then what you will find happening is different events will connect you up to all sorts of different people that you haven't even met yet, that you're yet to even meet right now, but within a short time can become your best of friends, and they will connect you up in such a way that eventually you will actually connect with them and probably want to spend more time with them. You may want to move home, you may want to get rid of what you've got here and move somewhere else. All sorts of things may happen. But if you're attached to your current life and you don't follow your passions and desires, or you think that you can follow your passions and desires at the same time as deny your injured self, and at the same time, you know, keep an image of your facade self up, and you think you can do all of those three things at once, then you are going to really struggle come the next period of time from now through to end of 2012.
And I feel passionately that if everyone in this room just did that, just went, okay, what do I passionately desire? I'm going for it. I'm going to live in my soul from now on. I'm going to feel whatever comes up. I'm just going to go for what I desire. You can forget about earth changes. Just forget about it. You're going to survive them because you're going to be in a really active connection with God through that process. If you involve God in that, that's it. You're also joyous and passionate. You're not out there building a bunker, putting rice and lentils in it, going, no,
putting your
today?
Shotgun in there with a heap of ammo.
You know, yuck. Wouldn't you prefer to just go, hey, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? I'm going to do that thing, and it scares the hell out of me, but it's more important to me to live in joy and just go for it. And I just feel absolutely, completely convinced that you will be fine through earth changes.
And through that period, what will happen is that information will come to you that would not have come to you if you weren't following your desires and passions.
And you'll know, like, it won't just be a here thing. You'll know what's right for you and where to go. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.